Hello, my name is Mary, and I'm currently involved in a collaborative effort with my husband, Samuel, at his family-owned business. The enterprise, led by my father-in-law, Liam, is a cozy and welcoming small-scale company with a workforce of about 6 individuals. Liam, a man known for his reticence, rarely engages in the daily business activities. Instead, it's Samuel who's likely to be the next president, showing his commitment by tirelessly engaging with clients and driving forward new projects, which underscores his dedication to the growth of the company. During major initiatives, all employees unite, fostering a dynamic and passionate environment. I've been part of this vibrant setting for the last 8 years, since marrying into the family. However, my mother-in-law, Amanda, seems to have some reservations about my involvement. Just recently, when I returned home early to prepare dinner while Samuel stayed late at the office, Amanda confronted me with some harsh words. "How long do you plan on clinging to our family business?" she questioned, her tone laden with reproach. Since retiring, Amanda seemed to shift her focus to critiquing my choices instead of enjoying her newfound free time. In response, I maintained my composure and asked, "What do you mean by clinging?" Amanda, cutting in her reply, insinuated that my marriage to Samuel was more out of necessity, and now I was exploiting the opportunity to work at their company. This wasn't the first time such accusations had been thrown my way, and it was becoming a frequent occurrence. When I married, I chose to leave my previous job to join Samuel's family business. It was a personal choice, not driven by unemployment, as Amanda appeared to believe. Attempting to clarify, I said, "Mom, it's not that I couldn't work elsewhere. I chose to be here." But her dismissive response showed a clear misunderstanding, as she seemed convinced of her perceived insights into my motives. The tensions with my mother-in-law didn't just stop at words. Despite her promises to take over household management upon her retirement, she refrained from contributing, leaving Liam to often seek her help with domestic chores. Instead, she stubbornly declared, "I've worked all my life. Now it's the daughter-in-law's turn to handle the household duties." Thus, the responsibility frequently landed on me to manage the dinner preparations and the subsequent cleanup. One afternoon, I gathered my courage to discuss a household issue that had been weighing on me. "Amanda," I began hesitantly, "I've noticed that dishes often remain unwashed in the sink. It would help if you could tidy up after your meals." My cautious approach, however, only ignited a fiery reaction from her. She lashed out, accusing me of overstepping my boundaries and questioning my right as a daughter-in-law to impose rules in her home. Caught in this draining exchange, I was conscious of the time slipping away. If I didn't start dinner soon, our meal would be delayed significantly. Despite my growing frustration, I managed to maintain my calm. "Mom, let's continue this conversation later," I suggested, hoping to momentarily ease the tension and turn my attention to preparing dinner, as it seemed likely we would eat late tonight. Amanda, seemingly cooled by my proposal, withdrew to the living room, leaving me alone with my thoughts amidst the sounds of clattering kitchen utensils. Both Liam and Samuel were no strangers to Amanda's abrasive treatment towards me. They tried to intervene whenever they witnessed it, although their attempts seemed to have little impact. Each time they addressed the issue, their expressions showed deep concern and frustration, reflecting their earnest desire to foster harmony within our family dynamic. Ironically, whenever Liam and Samuel admonished Amanda for her behavior, it only redirected her anger towards me, intensifying her hostility. Her usual calm and gentle demeanor would twist into contempt, her tone slicing deeper than ever. Though I had never endured physical violence, the emotional impact of Amanda's words was profound. The support from Liam and Samuel was my refuge, helping me to somewhat withstand Amanda's biting remarks. That support was tested on one particularly difficult morning. After cleaning up from breakfast and preparing to leave for work amidst the morning rush, Amanda suddenly exclaimed, "Oh my, what a mess! A trash heap here!" And without any warning, she doused my handbag with a bucket of water. I stood frozen, a mix of shock and anger rendering me speechless. "What are you doing, Amanda?" I managed to utter, my voice trembling with disbelief. Amanda's response was dismissively flippant, akin to that of a mischievous child. "Oh, was that your stuff? I thought it was just a big piece of trash." Her casual dismissal only fueled my fury. "Even if you thought it was trash, who pours water on it?" I protested, struggling to understand her callous disregard. In the morning light illuminating our living room, I found myself sitting opposite Amanda, her expression icy and determined as though she had resolved to take a drastic step. "What kind of reasoning is that? Now the carpet is soaked, and what about the vacuum cleaner?" My words tumbled out, mingled with confusion and frustration, as I hurriedly removed the water-soaked items from my bag, important documents for work laid out on the table to dry. Amanda looked back at me with a chilling nonchalance, her face betraying neither remorse nor concern for the upheaval she'd caused. "You don't need to go to work anymore," she stated flatly. I was utterly baffled by her declaration. "Excuse me?" My reply was heavy with disbelief and shock. Amanda's next words felt like a sharp stab to my heart. "You've been clinging to this house for 8 years, but today I can finally get rid of you." Her voice was filled with a venom and resolve I had never witnessed in her before. My mind spun, sorrow swelling within me. "Getting rid of me?" I echoed, disbelief coloring my tone. "She made me feel like an utter outsider in this family. My daughter is joining the company, so we need you to leave. Today's your last day. All you have to do today is bow your head to your father-in-law and Samuel, apologizing for all the trouble you've caused." Her mocking laughter added salt to my wounds. She was leveraging my position at work to oust me. I had poured years into that job, building both respect and cherished memories. Shocked and heartbroken, I struggled to grasp the harshness of her decree. I had committed myself to this family, yet it seemed my sacrifices were meaningless to her. "Are you sure about this? Wasn't Emma working in a clothing store in Philadelphia?" I questioned, my voice reflecting my confusion and concern. My role was more than just a paycheck. It was my path to personal fulfillment. Meanwhile, Emma, my sister-in-law, apparently weary of city life and its impersonal interactions, had decided to return. She said she was tired of dealing with the cold people of Philadelphia, so I told her once she comes back home, I have a job ready for her, Amanda explained with a finality that left little room for argument. Amanda's words struck like a harsh winter gust. "She's agreed to come back immediately, and now that she is, I want you out of this house." Her declaration was staggering, almost impossible to grasp. With a single sweeping decision, she was prepared to uproot my life, completely disregarding my role within the family. Without a chance for any discussion, she coldly presented me with an envelope. "I've written your resignation letter," she announced, effectively banishing me from our home. At that moment, my heart shattered. Years of dedication and togetherness were dismissed as trivial, like a discarded piece of paper. Her actions tore at the fabric of our family bond, leaving it irreparably damaged. With a heavy heart, I made the short 5-minute walk to the company, a path I had trodden countless times, but never with such a tumult of emotions under the cool morning sky. Each step felt laden with the gravity of the unfolding situation. Upon entering the office, I shared with my father-in-law Liam and my husband Samuel. I relayed Amanda's harsh ultimatum. Their expressions blended shock with restrained anger, yet they remained composed. Amidst the turmoil, they tentatively suggested that perhaps it was time for me to step away, to demonstrate to Amanda the real impact of her demands. This idea plunged my heart into further chaos, After years of relentless work at our family business, the notion of taking a break, longer than the brief holidays of Thanksgiving or Christmas, felt both alien and enormous. Encouraged by Samuel and Liam's supportive words, "Why don't you spread your wings for a change?" I resolved to take a short trip. As I packed, my mind was awash with reflections on my life, the choices I had made, and what the future might hold. Meanwhile, my sister-in-law Emma, who was supposed to replace me at the company, arrived shockingly late at 2 p.m. Her lackadaisical approach left Samuel and Liam bewildered and frustrated. Despite their efforts, Emma showed little interest in grasping the intricacies of the business. Hearing of this, a wave of anxiety washed over me concerning the company's future, even as I looked forward to my journey. Departing without another encounter with Amanda, I quickly set off. As the train pulled away, I gazed out at the shifting landscape, allowing myself to reflect on my past and present. The journey offered not just a physical distance, but a moment to breathe and consider the path laid out before me. As I savored the local seafood specialties during my journey, my thoughts often drifted to my family and our business. I was deeply engrossed in these reflections on the 5th day of my retreat when my serenity was abruptly disrupted by a tearful call from Emma. "What's going on? Mom said it was an easy job just sitting in a chair, but Samuel and Dad are acting like I can't do anything right," she lamented. Her words, likely echoing the assurances given by my mother-in-law, caught me off guard. Despite the leisurely pace of my days, I knew it was time to address the reality of the situation. "So, Emma, how proficient are you with computers?" I inquired, sensing her hesitation. "Well, I usually watch videos online and play games too," she responded, her answer hinting at her limited technical expertise. Curious about her capabilities, I probed further into her familiarity with software tools like Word or Excel. Her puzzled response was unexpected, considering her background in the Philadelphia apparel industry, where tasks like tracking sales and managing inventory would have necessitated basic computer skills. "Can you handle calculations for sales or fill out documents?" I asked. She confidently claimed I could handle that task. However, when pressed with a more specific query, "Can you calculate the right amount of tax?" her confidence faltered and she responded with uncertainty. This was not merely a test of her mathematical skills, but of her ability to apply them in a practical business setting. While Emma might have other talents, it was clear that she was unsure about the skills required for the job. Her discomfort seemed especially pronounced when it came to calculations, likely contributing to the criticism from Liam and Samuel. It was crucial to confront the motives of my mother-in-law and her supporters who sought to oust me. "Since you're taking over my role, I expect you to manage the accounting tasks proficiently. Be mindful of email etiquette. A casual tone that might be suitable for friends is entirely inappropriate for business communications. Also, you'll be responsible for scheduling staff shifts. Our team is small, but we take everyone's requests for time off seriously, so ensure not to prioritize your convenience over theirs," I advised her firmly. As I continued to outline the responsibilities, I could hear Emma sobbing on the other end of the line. It was a tough conversation, but necessary to ensure she understood the reality and the expectations of the role she was stepping into. "But I thought I wouldn't have to do much." Emma abruptly ended the call, clearly overwhelmed by the tasks at hand. Over the next 4 days, I took the opportunity to explore Philadelphia, the very place Emma had escaped from. Surprisingly, I found the people there warmer than expected, a stark contrast to the cold-hearted nature of my mother-in-law, Amanda, and Emma, who seemed intent on pushing me out. A week after leaving my job, I returned to my in-laws' house. As soon as I arrived, Amanda, her face red with fury, confronted me. "How dare you make my daughter cry? You won't get away with this," she yelled, her eyes filled with anger and confusion. Before she could reach me, Samuel and Liam intervened, trying to calm her down, though her anger showed no signs of easing. Emma is upset because she got a scolding for trying to boss around her employees, despite not knowing how to properly do it. It's not Mary's fault. Besides, Mary hasn't been here for a week, so she couldn't have upset Emma, Samuel explained, his voice calm yet firm, trying to dispel the baseless accusations. Amanda shot back emotionally. It's because of her. This woman is the reason for Emma's troubles. She threw suspicions at me without any real basis. Where is Emma, by the way? I asked, scanning the room, but she was nowhere to be found, deepening the mystery. It's odd Emma has nowhere else to go since she gave up her apartment in Philadelphia. I assumed she'd be here, I pondered aloud. Samuel then shared, Emma's locked herself in her room. She's been crying and doesn't want to go to work anymore. She's overwhelmed, likely because she lacks the skills needed for the job. Amanda, still heated, accused, You've been turning Samuel and Liam against me. They wouldn't say the company runs better with you than with Emma unless you poisoned them against her. Samuel sighed deeply, clearly tired from the ongoing family drama and his futile attempts to clear up misunderstandings. Mom, he began again, hoping to clarify. It might sound unusual, but Mary is exceptional at her work. She's certified in bookkeeping, her secretarial skills are top-notch, and she's even studied Spanish and studied abroad. She handles all our multilingual communications at the company, he said with a hint of pride. Amanda looked surprised, obviously unaware of my qualifications and contributions. That sounds like something out of a TV show, she muttered. Reflecting, I shared, in college, I was so focused on getting various certifications and immersed in my studies that I hardly had time for social activities or romance. It was then that I met Samuel when he visited my company for business, and I found myself recounting the story of how we first met, trying to bridge the gap between the misunderstandings and the reality of our lives. However, I realized Amanda wasn't interested in hearing about my qualifications or past achievements, so I steered the conversation back to the present situation. In a nutshell, I handled a wide range of tasks at the company, from accounting and scheduling to liaising with other companies and managing employee shifts, I explained, outlining the broad scope of my responsibilities. Samuel added, The work environment has been much better compared to when you were more involved, Mom. His comment left Amanda visibly surprised. Just then, Liam, Samuel's father, interjected with a surprising revelation. We're considering shutting down the company soon. Emma made a significant mistake. Instead of preparing some documents, she chose to handle phone calls because she thought it would be more fun. While we were away, she ended up being rude to an important contact from another company, which could have serious repercussions. I was stunned, covering my mouth with my hand in shock. I can't believe Emma would do something like that, I murmured, filled with disbelief and dread at the thought of how her actions could potentially lead to the company's downfall. However, as I was absorbed in these anxious thoughts, the story took another unexpected turn. When I explained our situation, the president of the other company suggested it might be time to consider merging. He expressed interest in absorbing our family business, Liam continued. This was an unforeseen yet hopeful development. A merger could stabilize our customer base, something Samuel had been striving towards through his diligent efforts in sales. This news brought a sense of relief to Samuel and Liam, but not to Amanda. Suddenly she objected, That's not acceptable. Samuel must become the president. This company is ours, isn't it? He's not going to be just an employee, Amanda exclaimed passionately, unable to accept the possibility of losing the prestige associated with owning a company. Her outburst caught the attention of Emma, who came downstairs to see what the commotion was about. Amidst the chaos, Liam spoke up with a calm but decisive tone. I am divorcing you. You've not only resisted change and neglected your duties at home and to the family, but I've also learned of your escapades with younger men. I can't support such behavior any longer. This announcement was a shock to everyone, especially Samuel and me. Liam then took out some divorce papers and a photo of Amanda with a young man from a shelf in the living room, placing them on the table. "If you sign these divorce papers now and take your belongings, I won't pursue alimony. Trying to get any money from you would be pointless," he stated firmly. "How can you say that? Haven't I devoted myself to this house all these years?" Amanda protested. "Have you done any real housework in the last 8 years? Does spending someone else's money on young men count as devotion to this house?" Liam countered, his voice revealing a rare frustration. This was the first time we saw such a stern side of Liam, usually mild-mannered as he addressed the deep-seated issues that had been simmering within the family. In the tumultuous family drama, the sight of Liam, usually so composed and restrained, visibly upset, was a shock to everyone, especially Emma, who had just entered the living room. Her body shook slightly, a clear sign of her astonishment and fear. "Emma, this involves you two," Liam declared, his voice firm and resolute. "You came back because you failed to make it on your own in Philadelphia. Now you can't even manage to secure a job here, yet you parade around as if you're above everyone. Ultimately, you've stopped trying to work at all. It seems you've picked up some bad habits of escapism. It's time for you to leave this house as well." Emma was stunned, her face a mix of confusion and denial. "Wait a minute, Dad. Maybe Mom has her issues, but I'm still your daughter, right?" she protested, her voice desperate as she tried to cling to her place in the family hierarchy. Amanda, feeling the sting of her daughter's words, expressed her shock. "Are you betraying me now, Emma?" she accused, her voice tinged with hurt and disbelief. As tensions escalated, Liam quickly intervened to prevent further conflict. "To avoid more trouble, I've arranged for you both to stay with an acquaintance until you find your footing again. They will be here shortly to pick you up. Please get your essential belongings ready," he instructed, his tone leaving no room for argument. With heavy hearts and no other viable options, Amanda and Emma packed their belongings. Shortly after, an acquaintance of Liam, who managed a factory with living accommodations, arrived to escort them to their new temporary home. In the meantime, Samuel, Liam, and I took the opportunity to inform our employees about the impending merger of our company with a larger corporation, preparing them for the changes and new challenges ahead. Amid these significant life adjustments, I discovered that I was pregnant. I shared the joyous news with the president of the company acquiring ours, who responded enthusiastically and promised to arrange a suitable replacement for my position, ensuring a smooth transition. With the promise of new beginnings and the anticipation of our growing family, Samuel and Liam dedicated themselves even more passionately to their work, inspired by the bright future ahead.